Hello, how's everybody doing? Hope you're all well. In this talk that goes on, you're looking at really, I think it's chapter five of the 1 Hour Strategy book. It's about ideas, and I think it's a really important thing. I hope you enjoy hearing this. Basically, the idea is that we're marching through a strategy development process. We've talked about goals last time around, and so basically just to recap a little bit, a company is once you've figured out your viability of the company, then you look at who, what you are, etc., the SWOT analysis, all those different things, and then you come up with the goals. And the goals are basically how do I attain what I need to attain in order to be successful. And in business, those are budgets, those are numbers that like sales goals, quantity. They're whatever happens to be. You want this many, you want that many, you want more or less. You want to be here instead of there. You want to be here and there. These are all goals that are business described goals that are designed to reach success as your company defines it. So then once you've done that, then you have to come up with ideas. And basically, it's a logical progression. I have my goal. I know what I want to do. Think of when you guys thought, my goal is I want to go to college. So then you factor in, okay, so I want to go to college. Then let's come up with some ideas on where. So you think, where should I go and what should I do? So until you have your goal, you don't have a need for the ideas on how to attain the goals. Once you have the goal, it's incredibly important to be able to come up with ideas that can get you to your goal. Not everyone's going to be correct. We'll talk about how do you test your goals next time. But basically, how do I get there? So your ideas are basically the vehicle for how you get to your goal. That's important. So call up the slides on the big ideas, and we'll go over those. First of all, everyone wants to have more ideas, and you think, well, I like having ideas, and they feel good when it happens. The light bulb pops, and I feel good. Many people say, I was just driving down the street, I was taking a shower, I was doing something completely different, and this idea popped in my head out of nowhere. And that's true, and a lot of times, in a way, and a lot of times really creative people that are either writers, artists, playwrights, and things like that, they're kind of, or maybe inventors, or people that are working on science projects, science things in order to develop new cures or whatever. They come up with ideas because they're always thinking of coming up with new ideas. They're always in the idea business. So sometimes we think, well, they have a lot of ideas, but I don't. It's more because you're not putting yourself into the idea business. And so I think it's really important for you when you're in business, you have your goals, you'll be always thinking about those goals, and your brain will start working on those ideas. In other words, people come up with ideas. They're in a dream. They're in the idea-seeking state of mind, which I think it helps us all to be thinking more of. Less time doing mindless activity, and more time just focusing on what you really want out of life and your business, and let your brain work. Your brain is made for that. That's what it's for. When you're an entrepreneur, you want to really get those ideas that aim at reaching your goals for your company. And you find different people say different things. A lot of times people say, let's get a whole bunch of people together and throw their ideas on there, and no bad ideas, etc. I find that a real waste of time. That in fact, when you're in a big group, you usually dumb down the thinking. You rarely have brilliant innovation. People come up with the cure for cancer, or things, they haven't done that yet. But a lot of things like the cure for developing penicillin, etc. These things were really creatively done by like one person who was thinking it through. Then you can talk to other people. What do you think about this? But to have a bunch of people all together in a room usually is limiting in terms of come up with great ideas. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not going to get you very far. And once you have an idea, you can discuss it. But the original idea shaping is think of any advertising person. They don't sit around and say, let's come up with an advertising idea. They put their creative person on it. I don't know if you guys watch Mad Men, but Don Draper, have a few scotches, lay on his couch, go to a movie, watch a movie, and all of a sudden, bang, an idea would happen to him, and he'd write it down on a napkin. This is how ideas often come up. So there are a lot of different ways to do that. I want to say that I look at slide 3, that inspired ideas come from your brain constructing new combinations from existing information, new solutions derived from their relationships, and the incremental potential available from their impact on one another. In other words, all these facts you have, let your brain absorb them and work sideways on them, or however you want to think of it, and putting those new combinations on the existing things, come up with things. That's where your ideas come from. That's where real creativity comes from. Not completely out of nowhere. It's based on things. When somebody says, "Oh, I came up with this brilliant way to make a car run faster," well, they've been in a car business for a long time. No one comes up with a brilliant idea on to make a better engine if they're out of the blue. It has to be have to be familiar with all the existing ways that they work, and then they can do a tweak on top of that. It seems brilliant, and it is brilliant, but it's based on a bunch of facts and letting things really work in their heads. I'm gonna just give a really quick thing on this slide. I think it's 4 on idea generation process. This is how you come up with ideas, and this works. It's a simple process, but give it a shot. So first of all, you work independently and you assess your business with a business viability assessment. So you look at what you're doing in your business and you think, is this viable, etc. Then you review your goals and you see where your goals are, and then you go over your SWOT analysis in great detail. So basically that is to set the lay of the land. I know my business is good, I know the resources, I know what the drivers are, I know I'm committed to this business, boom. Then I've got my goals, I understand what those are, the corporate goals, how we're doing, and then the SWOT analysis, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what's the competition out there like, what's standing in our way, what could we leverage off and do better. So you have all those things out in front of you. And then if you've been given a task to come up with, you learn everything you can about that and say, you got to come back tomorrow, you got to come back 2 weeks, take that time to figure out as much as you can about this subject. And then you step away and you let your brain wander and you go running, or you do something, or you do something completely different, or you sleep. People often say, I'll sleep on it. It's actually true. Your brain is a miracle device and it's built exactly for doing this. What you don't want to do is, when you're trying to think of something, watch some stupid thing on TV, listen to the radio in your car, stare at your phone, etc., because that's going to focus your attention, your brain on something you're doing rather than letting it think. So if you really want to have ideas, you got to put that stuff away. You got to get something that you can be doing something but not associated, that's absorbed. You have to let your mind wander a bit on this one at this point of the idea generation process. Ideas will pop in your head. They really will. And you write them down. Always write down every idea you have. It's a good idea to keep an idea book around with you, or 3x5 cards, whatever it is, especially when you're in business, because I just find all the time, I get on a plane, once they shut that door, no one could call me, I couldn't get in, nothing. I was on the plane. So for the next 3 or 4 hours or 12 hours, whatever it happened to be, you're trapped in there. I had more business related ideas and structures on those times than I would in months of sitting at my desk with all the other distractions. You're focused, your mind's thinking. I'd invariably get out some kind of a piece of paper, the back of a book I'm reading, and come up with all kinds of structures, ideas, and concepts that I would go back and actually implement, because your brain is ready to do it. You just got to let it. So you kind of clear away from that, and then just let your brain do what it's meant to do. Write down your ideas. Don't forget to do that. So you'll be amazed how many times I had this great idea, it slipped out of my head. You ever had that happen to you? It's not fun. So write them down so it doesn't happen to you. Then you can work on them to make more clear, concise, so frame them, test them, and then if you have other people around, you can kind of bounce them off. Write the best ideas down, and then we'll show you, I think next week we'll probably talk about how you test the best ideas for logic. Hope that makes sense. It's fun. Having ideas is great. It makes you added value in your company. People want people that add to what they're doing, not just followers. Leadership is thinking, coming up with ideas, and being creative. Now, sometimes your ideas, they're not going to like them. Fine. Never be shut down over and over again. I always have bad ideas. No, we'll keep at it. Why was that not a good idea? Go back to this process, see what it worked. And sometimes it can be a good idea, but it's not right for that time or place, or that company doesn't like ideas. Who knows? But anyway, give this a shot. You'll be happy you did, and you'll be happy to see how your this brain you have is able to do some miraculous things when it comes to idea creation. Okay, hope that makes sense. Thanks a lot. Bye.